All right, let's talk about the thing that every National Guard member does once a month, but then nobody outside the Guard really understands: drill weekend. If you're thinking about joining the Guard, or you just signed up and you're wondering what you actually got yourself into, or you're just curious about what happens during those weekends when your friend or family member disappears in uniform, you're in the right place. Because drill weekend is the backbone of Guard life. And it's something you're going to be doing every single month for the duration of your contract. So, what actually happens? What time do you show up? What do you do all day? Is it physically exhausting? Will you burn out trying to balance it with your full-time civilian job? Do you sleep there or go home? And most importantly, what's the real experience like? Let's break it down hour by hour so you know exactly what to expect. First, let's establish what drill weekend actually is. Officially, it's called Unit Training Assembly, or UTA. It's the one weekend per month when you report to your National Guard unit to conduct training, maintain readiness, complete administrative tasks, and do whatever needs to be done to keep the unit mission ready. The Guard likes to say 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks a year. And drill weekend is that monthly commitment. Most units drill on Saturday and Sunday, though some units drill Friday night through Sunday, and occasionally you'll see Thursday night starts or Friday morning starts, depending on the unit and what they've got going on. The standard is about 2 days, but the actual hours can vary. So let's start with the most basic question. What time do you have to be there? This varies by unit, but a typical drill weekend starts early. And when I say early, I mean early. Most units have formation between 0630 and 0700 on Saturday morning. That's 6:30 to 7 a.m. for those of you not fluent in military time. Which means if you live an hour away from your armor or your training site, you're waking up at dark 30 to get there on time. And yes, you need to be on time. Actually, you need to be early, because if you're on time in the military, you're late. So realistically, you're showing up 15 to 30 minutes before formation, which means you're probably waking up at 4:30 or 5 in the morning on a Saturday after working all week at your civilian job. Sounds fun, right? Here's what a typical Saturday morning looks like. You arrive at the armory or training site. You're in your uniform, ACUs, Army Combat Uniform, or OCPs, Operational Camouflage Pattern, depending on when you joined and what your unit wears. You check in with your team leader or squad leader, make sure your stuff is squared away, and you head to formation. Morning formation usually includes accountability, which means they're making sure everyone's there. Then there's usually some kind of brief from the commander or first sergeant about what's happening that weekend, safety reminders, administrative announcements, and the schedule for the day. This whole process takes maybe 30 to 45 minutes. After formation, what happens next depends entirely on what your unit has planned for that drill weekend. And this is where things can vary wildly. Some drill weekends are heavy on physical training and combat skills. Some are administrative and classroom-based. Some are a mix. Let's talk about the different types of activities you might do. Physical training, or PT, is a staple. A lot of units do PT first thing in the morning, sometimes even before the main formation. You're talking PT formation at 0600, running, calisthenics, ruck marches, obstacle courses, whatever the PT plan is for that day. This usually lasts 60 to 90 minutes, and yes, you're doing this after waking up at the crack of dawn following a week of work at your civilian job. Is it exhausting? It can be, especially if you're not staying in good shape during the month between drills. But here's the thing. PT at drill is usually not as intense as PT was in basic training. Your unit is full of people who have civilian jobs, families, and lives outside the Guard, so the intensity is generally more manageable. That said, you need to meet Army fitness standards, and twice a year you'll take the ACFT, the Army Combat Fitness Test. So, PT is real and it matters. Weapons training is another common drill activity. You might spend some time on the range qualifying with your new assigned weapon, usually the M4 rifle or the M17 pistol. Range days are long. You do safety briefs, draw your weapon and ammunition, conduct rehearsals, shoot your qual course, clean your weapon, turn everything back in, and sit through more safety briefs. It's a full day event, and honestly, range days are some of the longer, more tedious drill weekends, but they're necessary because you have to qualify with your weapon annually to maintain readiness. Tactical training is another possibility. Depending on your unit and your job, you might do squad battle drills, convoy operations, communication exercises, or other tactical scenarios. If your unit is preparing for deployment or an upcoming training event, you might spend the whole weekend rehearsing mission-specific tasks. This is usually more engaging than sitting in a classroom, but it's also more physically demanding. You're wearing full kit, you're moving, you're thinking, and you're executing tasks under time pressure. Classroom training is a huge part of drill weekends. The Army has a lot of mandatory annual training requirements: cyber awareness, sexual harassment prevention, equal opportunity training, operational security, suicide prevention, and a dozen other topics. Plus, you've got job-specific training, leadership development courses, professional development classes. A lot of drill weekends involve sitting in a classroom or watching PowerPoint presentations while an instructor goes through mandatory training slides. Is it riveting? No. Is it necessary? According to the Army, yes. This is a part of the drill that can feel a little bit tedious, especially when you've been up since 4:30 in the morning and you're sitting through a 2-hour PowerPoint on information security that you've seen 3 times before. Administrative tasks are another big component. You've got to update your personnel records, complete medical readiness requirements, update your dental status, renew your ID card if it's expiring, fill out some paperwork for schools or promotions, and handle any other admin that needs to be done. There's always some kind of admin that needs your attention, and drill weekend is when it gets done. Your unit has sections dedicated to this: S1 for personnel, S4 for supply, medical section for health stuff, and you spend time during drill making sure you're fully mission ready on paper. So, let's walk through a realistic Saturday schedule to give you a sense of flow. You show up around 0630, formation at 0700, PT from 0730 to 0900, change into duty uniform, get some breakfast from the DFAC or from whatever food is provided, and then you're into training. Maybe 0930 to 1230 is classroom training on some mandatory topic, lunch from 1230 to 1330, then 1330 to 1630 is more training, maybe a tactical exercise or job-specific skills. Then you've got time for admin, equipment maintenance, and a final formation. By the time everything is wrapped up, it's usually between 1600 and 1800, 4 to 6 p.m., so you've been there for roughly 10 to 12 hours on a Saturday. Sunday usually starts a little later, maybe 0800 formation, and it's typically shorter. Sunday is often when you do the training or admin that you didn't get finished on Saturday, plus equipment turn-in, vehicle maintenance, and final accountability. You're usually released by early to mid-afternoon on Sunday, somewhere between 1300 and 1500. So another 5 to 7 hours on Sunday. Now, let's address the big question. Do you stay overnight or do you go home? The answer depends on a few factors. If your armory, your training site is close to where you live, within an hour or so, most people go home Saturday night. You finish drill Saturday evening, you drive home, you sleep in your own bed, and you come back Sunday morning. But if your unit is far away, or if the training requires you to stay overnight for continuity, you might stay on site. Some armories have barracks or billeting where you can sleep. Some units will put you up in a local hotel if you're training away from a home station. And sometimes, especially for field training exercises, you're sleeping in a tent or in your vehicle. It depends on the mission and the location. Most of the time, for standard drill weekends at your home armory, you're commuting. But you need to factor that into your planning. If you live far from your unit, you're adding hours of driving on top of an already long weekend. That can get exhausting. Now let's talk about the big concern: burnout. You've got a full-time civilian job. You work Monday through Friday. You're tired. And now you've got to get up at 4:30 a.m. on a Sunday and spend the whole weekend doing guard stuff. Is it sustainable? Can you handle it without burning out? The honest answer is, it depends on you, your civilian job, your physical fitness, and your mindset. For a lot of people, especially early on, drill weekends are tiring. You're adjusting to the rhythm of balancing 2 lives. You're working all weekend, you're sacrificing your weekend, and you're exhausted by Sunday afternoon. But here's the thing, most people adapt. You get used to the schedule. You learn to manage your energy. You make sure that you're sleeping well during the week. You stay in shape so PT isn't killing you, and you mentally prepare for drill so it doesn't feel like such a shock to the system. The people who struggle the most with burnout are usually the ones who have really demanding civilian jobs, or who aren't taking care of their physical fitness, or who don't have good support systems at home. If you're working 60 hours a week at a high-stress job, and then you're doing drill on top of that, yeah, you're going to be tired. If you're out of shape and PT is destroying you every month, that's going to make everything harder. And if your family or your employer aren't supportive of your guard commitment, that adds stress. On the flip side, a lot of guard members actually enjoy drill. It's a break from their civilian routine. They get to hang out with their buddies, do something different, wear a uniform, and be part of the team. There's camaraderie in the guard that you don't always get in civilian life, and for some people, drill weekend is actually energizing, not draining. It depends on your personality and your unit. Let's talk about the physical and mental demands. Physically, drill can range from pretty chill to legitimately demanding. If it's a classroom weekend with a lot of sitting and PowerPoint, It's not physically hard at all, though it can be mentally draining because you're bored and fighting to stay awake. If it's field training exercise with rucking, digging, moving equipment, and tactical drills, it's physically exhausting. Most drill weekends fall somewhere in the middle. You're doing some PT, some walking around, some standing in formation, but it's not like you're going through basic training again every month. Mentally, drill can be tedious. A lot of Guard members will tell you that the hardest part of drill isn't the physical stuff. It's the waiting around, the bureaucracy, the inefficiency, and the repetitive training. The Army loves its mandatory briefings and the check-the-box training, and you're going to sit through a lot of it. There's also a lot of hurry up and wait when you're rushing to get somewhere or do something, and then you're standing around waiting for the next thing. That can be frustrating, especially when you've got a million things you need to do in your civilian life, and you're spending 2 hours standing in line to turn in a piece of equipment. Now, let's address the question of location. Where do you drill? For most Guard members, you drill at your unit's armory, which is a military facility in your state. Armories are usually located in or near cities and towns, and ideally your unit is close to where you live. When you enlist, you're assigned to a specific unit, and that unit drills at a specific location. If you live in rural Montana and your unit drills in Billings, you might be driving 2 or 3 hours each way. If you live in the suburbs of a major city and your unit drills 20 minutes away, you're golden. Location matters a lot for your quality of life. The farther you have to drive, the earlier you have to wake up. The more tiring the whole experience is going to become. Some drill weekends happen away from your home armory. Your unit might go to a training area, a military base, or another location for specialized training. Maybe you're doing a field exercise at a state training site, or maybe you're going to a federal facility for range qualification. When that happens, you might leave Friday evening, train all day Saturday and Sunday, then come home Sunday night. Or you might be gone the whole weekend, sleeping in tents or barracks. These away drills are less common than home station drills, but they do happen, especially when your unit needs access to facilities or ranges that aren't available at your home armory. Let's talk about what you need to bring to drill. Your unit will give you a packing list, but generally, you need your uniforms, your boots, your PT gear, toiletries, any required equipment like your protective mask or body armor, and any paperwork or documents you need to bring. If you're staying overnight, you need a sleeping bag or personal items. Some units provide meals, some don't, so you might need to bring food, and you'll want to bring things to keep yourself entertained during the downtime like a book or your phone. You will have some free time, especially during lunch or if there's a lull in the training schedule, and you'll definitely want to be doing something. Let's address how drill weekends vary. Not every drill is the same. Some months, you'll have a light drill that's mostly admin and mandatory training. Other months, you'll have a field exercise that's physically demanding and mission focused. Some drills are fun and engaging. Others are boring and feel like a waste of time. A lot depends on your unit's leadership, the time of year, and what your unit is preparing for. If your unit is getting ready for annual training or a deployment, drills will be more intense and focused. If it's in the middle of winter and there's not much going on, drills might be more laid back. Your job in the Guard also affects your drill experience. If you're infantry or another combat arms job, you're doing more tactical training, more field time, more physical stuff. If you're in a support role like human resources or supply, you're doing more admin, more paperwork, and more office-type tasks. If you're a medic, you might be doing medical training and supporting other units. Every job has a different rhythm and a different set of tasks at drill. Let's walk through some real-world experiences from actual Guard members to give you a sense of the variety. Guard member 1 is an E4 truck driver in a transportation unit. His civilian job is working at a warehouse. His drill weekends are usually pretty relaxed. Saturday morning PT, then vehicle maintenance, then some classroom training, lunch, maybe some admin time, and he's done by 5 p.m. Sunday is usually shorter, wrapping up by early afternoon. He goes home both nights. He doesn't find drill particularly exhausting because his civilian job is already physical, and drill is a nice change of pace. He actually enjoys it most of the time. Guard member 2 is an E5 infantryman in a combat arms unit. His civilian job is as a high school teacher. His drill weekends are intense. He's doing squad battle drills, ruck marches, land nav, weapons training, and a lot of field time. He's exhausted by Sunday, and Monday mornings are rough because he's going straight from drill back to teaching. He's had moments where he's felt burned out, especially during the school year when he's already stressed with his teaching load. But he loves the camaraderie and the mission, so he pushes through. Guard member 3 is an E6 medic in a medical unit. Her civilian job is as a nurse. Her drill weekends are a mix. Some months it's classroom training on medical protocols, and other months she's in the field providing medical support for other units doing training. She's staying overnight sometimes when her unit is supporting larger exercises. She finds drill mentally draining more than physically draining because a lot of it is repetitive training that she's already done a dozen times. But she values the extra income and the benefits, so she sticks with it. These experiences illustrate that there's no one-size-fits-all drill experience. It varies by unit, by job, by leadership, and by individual circumstances. So let's get to the core questions. Is drill a lot of work? Sometimes. It can be physically and mentally demanding, but it's usually manageable. Will you burn out balancing it with a full-time job? It's possible, but most people adapt and find a rhythm. Is it combat training or specific training or both? It's both. You'll do a mix of tactical skills, mandatory training, administrative tasks, and job-specific work. What's the common experience? Long days, early mornings, a mix of engaging and tedious activities, and a lot of camaraderie. Is it far from home? It depends on where your unit is located. Do you stay overnight or go home? Usually, you go home, but not always. Here's the bottom line. Drill weekends are the reality of National Guard life. They're not glamorous, they're not always fun, and they're not always easy, but they're also not unbearable. You show up, you do your job, you get through it, and then you go home. You get paid for your time, you maintain your military skills, and you stay connected to your unit. For most people, once they get into a rhythm, drill becomes just another part of life. It's one weekend a month, it's doable, but you need to go in with realistic expectations. It's early mornings, long days, and sometimes tedious work. It's balancing two lives and making sacrifices, but it's also service, camaraderie, and purpose. If you're thinking about joining the Guard, understand that drill weekends are the commitment. If the idea of giving up one weekend a month feels impossible, the Guard probably isn't for you. It's that simple. Listen, the Guard is a commitment, and you deserve to know exactly what you're signing up for. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.